We, you are ready. Cody's coming out hot. This is a very special episode of Realities May Vary. I say it's very special because, Cody, we are now back in the 1950s. So we time traveled. It's very exciting. We are back, but you are revved up. You are ready to go. You are shot out of a cannon.
I got a Revolution Stout. I got a bag of edibles. Where do we start? Which one?
Well,
which one do we need?
I
got a
edible in. I
got a physical Bitcoin here.
I have bourbon tonight.
Yeah, just straight
straight bourbon. That's
straight
that's what tonight is for. This is from Koval Distillery, local Chicago distillery. It was part of a Christmas gift from my ladies. So I'm having a little bit of bourbon with tonight's conversation because you'll remember this, Cody. You'll remember before we even started radio. And especially when we started, there were two topics that everybody said, "Oh, you should never talk about these kind of things. You should never talk about guns or abortion."
I always thought it was 3, and I was forgetting one.
I think maybe back in the day they said don't talk about politics, but that's gone way out the window.
No, but that was for dating. For radio, I thought it was gun control, abortion, and I thought there was a third because things tend to come in 3s, but maybe I'm just misremembering. I definitely remember never talk about guns or abortion, but I don't remember. Anyway, maybe
I don't remember maybe there was a third one.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'm Google
not Google old radio proverbs. Never talk about guns or abortion. Guns, abortion, and what else? That's what we need. We need to know what else.
Nah, I'm not going to get any quality on the radio.
I was going to say that seems like a very elusive Google search. Seems very niche, and I don't think we're going to get it. I just don't think it's going to happen. But I did religion, climate change, voting rights. No, those were all things. Best hot dog. Should ketchup be on a hot dog? Yeah. No, those are topics that the best hot dog standard still talked about on some news talk morning shows. So we're not gonna. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. No, I was misremembering. It was those two. We can now move on and talk about
both of them. Yeah, because it's been very exciting. Well,
if I were to put my podcast programming hat on,
please do.
You're
a professional podcast producer.
That's true.
Yes,
that's true. Well, so we don't do pre-show meetings really. I got a text from Brian that I should maybe have checked out the news this week. Yes, even my head was not so buried in the sand that I missed. Fair.
I don't think I was out of line to give you a heads up that we might be covering current events. I didn't say what was. I just said, give you a heads up. It was a big news week.
And fair of you to assume that maybe I didn't know.
I think most people who listen to this would go, "Oh yeah, Brian was right to at least give Cody a heads up that there was some, coming off the most recent, the day of the Uvalde shooting. You didn't know what had happened." So
true.
It seemed fair. I was not trying to be a jerk.
No, not at all. No, not intended. But the reason I say this is because I don't know how guns blazing, pardon the pun, Brian, you plan on coming or how much we plan on talking about it. So because it's usually a lighter show, a little more lifestyle.
Sure,
we obviously talk about the big news stories and your opinions, which, I never have opinions. I don't care about anything.
Well, here's the thing. You have a wife and a sister and a mom. Do we know? We don't know. Maybe you'll have a daughter. You did mention that you were expecting, you and your wife were expecting another child. That might be a girl who will be born into a country that, has less rights for her than for your son. So this one, I figured you'd probably care a little bit more about.
Yeah, I care about everything. And as much as I understand it. So just for the preview, because like good podcasts tell you what you're about to hear. How much of the meat of this episode, Brian, aside from the usual hijinks that will intersperse?
Look, I'm going to hold up my list.
I can't see that.
I know. I
gotta make my screen way bigger. It's got.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Some Roe versus Wade. The fact that we're on our way to being in a theocracy.
Okay.
Then it breaks down. 4th of July, a little shed cleanup that Debbie and I inadvertently fell into at my mom's. A 70th birthday of one of our dear friends. I've got a comedy show, and I'm co-hosting a political event that's coming up. A horrible experience with an optometrist, and my excitement over my first Twitter block. So I've got a lot on my agenda. I don't know what is on your agenda.
Hold on. Let me
see. I know it sounds like we don't. This is how the radio show was.
Here we go.
It sounded like we didn't prepare, but obviously there is prep that goes on with this. You know.
Here we go. Let's do this. I'm working on it. Hold on.
Yeah, Sally makes a point that since Cody does have a son, it does affect us all. What we're going to talk about, not the whole episode. So if you're like, I've heard it all, well, you didn't hear our point. Right, you didn't hear our opinion.
This is my list.
What's your list?
Here's my list.
Dying to know. Brian's topics, some question marks, and then how we're going to make a profit on this.
Yeah,
or just profit in the old Profit TV show.
What's step one, Brian's
well, you know
topics.
What? I'm gonna wait. Yeah, I'm gonna wait to hear the profit part after your question mark part. This is exciting. I like that you bring an air of mystery to the program that, a lot of us we're not worried about. We're excited because it's that what's going to happen? What's Cody going to serve up on this week's show that is going to be Mike wants crazy underpants gnomes. You never know, Mike. You never know what might pop out. Yes, Cody.
I'm looking at my schedule. This is what I do. After we start the show, I check my calendar from the last 7 days to see what I've done because I don't remember. I need to start journaling.
You haven't made any real interesting tweets this week. That's usually something usually I'll catch one, sometimes I'll catch one of your tweets that piques my interest. And I say, I got to talk to Cody about this tweet.
Yes. I'm not a big tweeter these days. I did send some pretty heated tweets on Friday.
Yes, as did I.
Yeah, I deleted most of them. So
I did not.
Yeah, that's probably fair. So anyway, apparently I did a couple things in the last week. I could talk about going to hardware stores. Not interesting. Don't really feel like it. I've got one home improvement project I'm working on, but and other than that, I guess we could talk about this other thing. I just didn't know if you were going to lead with it, do it later. There was a wrestling tweet.
Well, would you like to do it later? I thought we'd get the heavy stuff out of the way.
I don't know. Because the thing is, I don't want to turn anybody off. If anybody's here to have fun, that's not a very fun way to start.
No, you're right. It's not a fun way to start. So we can, let's start with something fun and then we'll bring it in because I've got to be honest with you. I still wear my talk show host hat. And this is listen, I have a wife and a daughter. I have female cousins. I know a lot of women in my life.
Let's get into
it. This is all right. This is something that I think it's irresponsible to not mention it.
No, of course. Look, it's not about,
and it's not something that I want to. It's not something I wished came up.
Sure.
I would much rather, talk about my visit to the orthopedic surgeon about my wrist.
Sure.
Or the horrible experience at the optometrist, which I'm sure we will get to.
Oh,
or
man,
your sojourn into the hardware store, and is this the bench project that you're working on?
No,
is that why you
haven't even started that? This was like an impromptu project that started on top of us replacing one of our air conditioning units this week.
See, these are all lighthearted, everyday stories that we excel at.
Spending $8,500 unexpectedly on a new AC unit is not lighthearted in my checkbook.
$8,500?
Yeah.
Now, is this the one for the small part of like the addition part of the house or the main house?
Mm-hmm. Addition part of the house. The AC unit was 25 years old.
That's the one that last week you just punched and it started working. You walked outside in your underwear, right? And you hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it worked.
It did, and I kind of regret replacing. No, because all right, so it was making us. It was outside. It's making a squeaking sound. I hit it with a brick. It didn't make it anymore. And then my wife said we should probably call the AC guys anyway, and just see if it's in. And they come out and they're like, "Look, the rotor's gonna kind of go soon. It's 25 years old. These things are supposed to last like 17, 18 years. You're living on borrowed time. And if we repair whatever little issues are with it, it's like $3,000." You might as well just replace it for 85. And then I
Wait,
stupidly.
I'm sorry. I'm going to jump in, and I'm not. $3,000 and 85 are hugely different sums of money.
Well, yeah, but if it's already 8 years past its life expectancy, you know what I mean? It's like you're not going to do like a $200,000 surgery on a 17-year-old dog, right? Well, you wouldn't.
I would. I don't have that kind of dough. Yeah.
Some people definitely would. I understand. But you know what I mean? So like, I don't know, but I should have just been like, cool, we'll call you when it kicks the bucket and just seen how long it lasted. Cause some people have gone like 30 years. I could have gotten another 5 out of this, but
who knows?
Didn't.
How many bricks are in your backyard?
There's enough.
You could have kept hitting that thing with a brick forever.
It was very stupid. If the central AC kicks the bucket, I'm just going to wait until it kicks the bucket.
That's the only time I replace something. I repair it or I replace it when it's dead. This preventative maintenance, see, Mike's backing you up. Mike's backing your play, but $3,000 to fix it, that might have gotten you another couple years.
No. I wasn't. That makes no sense. If I get like 20 years out of $8,000 versus the numbers made sense. The logistics didn't make sense. I'm glad you got my back, Mike. I appreciate it. And you'd be right, and I'd still agree with myself if this is one central unit, but this was just for the addition. So this was the unit just for the master bedroom and the library office, which means
that's a huge amount.
It's a huge amount, but if it had kicked the bucket, we could have just slept in the guest room.
Yes.
We had a lot of backup space with which to have central air.
Right. And
it died.
You have air. You could have put a couple fans in the hallway upstairs to move that air into your bedroom.
Yeah, no, I made a stupid error. I mean, sure, we've got a new unit. I can put it, if we sell the house, I can put it on the listing, brand new AC 2022. But like, just, I don't know.
Wow. That's nice. So this is not the week to ask you for money.
Did you see my tweet about asking me for money? Because that's what I was angrily tweeting about with the whole abortion situation.
No, I missed that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you say?
Other people said it better. Well, my first tweet was a lot of deleted tweet drafts this morning.
Okay.
Because how do you how to respond to the big news. The second one, which I kept deleting, and I don't think I ever tweeted out, was big win for Democrats today. Huge win for the Democratic Party today, who will doubtlessly ask me for money by the end of today so that they can beat the Republicans in the next election and then stop this from happening, this thing that they didn't do anything to stop from happening. So, and then like clockwork, about 2 hours later, text message, I'm Nancy Pelosi and I need money to be a worthless hag. I almost said many worse words just there. I want you to know that.
But she read a poem, Cody.
I self-censored.
I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you.
We would have gotten canceled off Facebook and we didn't even have censors.
That's true. I don't think we did, unless the metaverse starts following us. No, it's funny because I just watched Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, and he made a joke. He must have been reading your tweets because he made a similar joke. But you're right. They started asking. I got one of those texts too, one of those fundraising texts. Help us stop the. It's too late. You guys had your chance.
Yep.
You effed up. You were too busy, infighting about all this other crap, and nobody was surprised. We saw this coming. We saw it coming when the last administration got 3 justices on, and then when Susan Collins and Mike Manchin come out and go, well, we feel a little misled. They seem to have lied to us during their confirmation hearings. We really thought they were going to abide by their word. Really? Then you're too gullible and stupid to be serving in Congress. You really need to sit down, put a towel over your head, and then hit yourself with a hammer because you are mentally challenged. If you're that naive and stupid, shut up and go home. Susan Collins is the most wishy-washy human being on the. If a squid had a wig, it would be Susan Collins. That's so. Shut up with that. Oh, we don't know. We're very surprised.
I don't know
Really?
who Susan Collins is. Who's that?
She's a senator who has been going back and forth, and she came out that morning and went, well, when I talked to Brett Kavanaugh in my office, he assured me that Roe versus Wade was not on the table because it was law and that was it. It had been discussed. And I just can't believe that he lied to me. Really? Really? The guy who cried nonstop and talked about beard was allegedly a sexual abuser. So, yes, but it's horrible. I'm enraged for my wife. I see the hurt in her face. I'm enraged for my daughter, who had immediately started, posting links to, because she has strong ties to Louisiana, which immediately kicked in. Stop. Now, the courts down there have put a stay on that order, so they were able to resume abortions today. And I'm going to get this out of the way real fast before anybody starts chiming in, that you can be pro-choice and not be all for abortions. That's why I love, in air quotes, these political commercials from the conservative candidates, especially here in Illinois. And the Democrats, the woke left, are going to turn Illinois into a bastion of abortions. No, nobody. I would wager to say that nobody who has had an abortion was really happy about that decision. It's got to be an unbelievably difficult decision. One that, Cody, you and I are never going to, unless we're with somebody who's making that decision, we're never going to have to make that decision. So this whole thing, I'm enraged for that. I'm enraged for the fact that the Supreme Court has now become a political and religious arm of a government that is not supposed to be a theocracy. So I'm enraged for all the women that woke up Friday with rights and went to bed Friday without rights. And now, all these slack-jawed yahoos that are on TV celebrating this decision are trying to push it even farther, where it's going to be, South Dakota's governor and Missouri, the senator from Missouri, are all saying, yeah, now we're going to, we're going to look into how we can make sure that if someone leaves the state and gets an abortion, we can catch them. If they're trying to get medication through the mail, we'll be able to now we're going to take away privacy too. So we're going to track people to make sure that our religious beliefs now have to be the religious beliefs of everyone. So I guess that tells you how hot I'm going to come out on this.
It's very upsetting.
And if you're not upset by this, you're not paying attention. And a lot of my anger is with the Democrats. I voted primarily Democratic my entire life.
Yep.
And this current version of the Democrat, now this is not an endorsement of the other side, because the current Republican Party is just as wacky, except on the other end of what I believe. The current Democratic Party is a shit show. I'm going to say it. I don't care. Cancel me. It's a car wreck. It's a dumpster fire. It's every cliche you want to move. They can't get it together. They could have fought to try to codify Roe versus Wade for the last 2 years. They could have done what the GOP did and play the long game. The GOP has been playing for this day for 50 years. And they got it. So I don't know. And yes, we know there's a million different reasons, Marta, why women can have abortions, whether it's ectopic pregnancies, whether it's miscarriages that don't detach from the uterus, whether it's sepsis. There's a million different reasons, and none of them are easy. Go ahead, Cody. I'm going to have some bourbon.
Can I say it's my understanding on that point? Correct me if I'm wrong. It's my understanding that in cases where a pregnant person's life is like medically in danger, that is still federally protected. I believe there are still
nothing is federal, and now it's all states.
No. I believe I believe something is still federally
Most
protected.
of them are all saying that depending on the life of the mother, but if that's going to be up to, there's going to be a lot of states making a lot of different guidelines for what that means. Is it the mother's life is in danger right now?
Right.
Or is it, can we wait and see what happens? Or is it something that maybe down the road might be dangerous? So the whole thing is rough. And I know this is not, listen, this is not what I want to be talking about. I'd rather be yucking it up, and we will.
Hold on 1 second. I can't tell if that's a dog barking or my baby crying. I need 1 second. Continue. Right. I'm sure you have more thoughts.
I always have thoughts. Yes, Mitch McConnell. Well, Mitch McConnell he's made no secret that this was the plan all along, to get justices on the court to overturn Roe versus Wade. And they got it. So now, was it a dog or your baby?
A dog.
Or was it your baby pretending he was a dog?
Ooh. No, it's a dog.
Are you sure?
Neighbor's dog.
Tell that neighbor's dog to shut up. The baby's sleeping. That's what we told our dogs when he was over here. Shut up, baby's sleeping.
You might be like, how does a dog sound like a baby? But the dog is like, ah, ruff, ruff. And when the baby, cries, it's kind of like a, so it's very similar, actually.
Plus, your baby drinks out of the toilet. I didn't tell you that when you picked him up.
Anyway, I wasn't trying.
I'm sorry to. Wow, you took that as like you weren't supposed to tell anybody that. That was our private shame. I apologize, Cody. I didn't mean to get that out. That was supposed to stay in the van. I apologize.
Sure, I wasn't trying. By the way, obvious, and you know this, but just for the listener, I'm not trying to like downplay or whatever, like, or even silver lining it necessarily. But I, like, the first place your mind goes to is like, if the pregnancy is not viable at all and it's gonna kill both of them, like, yeah, it's just a total net zero, like, just awful situation, right? Like your head goes there and you're like, oh, so that's just gonna happen, like they're just gonna let people die. And again, my understanding was that, like, in that most severe worst case, there's still some kind of federal protection, which you mentioned there's kind of to a degree, but you're right, it does become like, well, how much of a risk, or how
because they're already saying, physicians are already saying that they're going to have to, there's going to be a lot of thought before they just, like before, if it looked dire, they would just do whatever procedure was needed.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be like, let's hold off and double check. And it doesn't matter. Here's the thing. I don't care what people believe religiously. I really don't. I don't know what religion everybody I know is, and I don't care. But what I also don't want to hear is your religion is now how I'm supposed to act. That's not right. It's not right as individuals. It's not right as a country.
It's not it, though. That's not it. That's not
what's not it.
It's not about religion. It's
what's
never
it about?
Been about. It's about money. We all know this.
This one is more.
It's not. They tap into the religious voting populace, but the driving force of this is economic. The more babies we have in poverty, the more people we have to do low-paying jobs in poverty. Like, I wouldn't be as upset about this if the decision had been accompanied by any kind of quality of life adjustment or support for anybody who is in a horrific financial situation having a baby. Like, there's not an inch given, right? Economically, right. Not an inch. And that's the issue. It's truly at the political level what is driving it. Walmart needs more people that don't have two dimes to rub together, that will beg for a minimum wage job so they can keep their corporate overlords rich, so they can keep giving money to our politicians. That is full stop the driver. And religious people get the blame. And yeah, because they're manipulated quite easily and embarrassingly easily into voting and supporting it. but that's not like I'm not some senator and I've got all this power and I'm saying, I really believe in God and I really believe God thinks this and this is what I'm going to do. No, the senator is getting money from corporations that are like, we need poor people. We need poor people with bad support systems who come from abusive families or come from extreme poverty. We're not going to ever give them any social support whatsoever.
Right, because we don't care. Once they're born, we don't care.
And you know what? If I pitch it is I care about people, it's marketing. It's marketing. They're marketing to religious people. But getting mad at religious people, I think, is the wrong thing to do. I think getting mad at the people in power who want to keep their boot on the neck of people and continue to populate like low wage workers, like those, that's what we need to do. But this is 100% economic that just happens to tap into a religious lever, which makes religious people look bad. And it just ends up dividing us even more, which also benefits people in power because like then we're fighting with each other and not getting really mad and like rioting in Washington, D.C., which people should be doing. I didn't say insurrectioning it. I said rioting, and people should totally be rioting in Washington, D.C. I don't think it's illegal to say that, but like, whatever. I don't know. I mean, right? How am I wrong about this?
Up to what point? I agree with you on the economics point. I agree with you because we don't do anything for all these babies that are now nothing for them. I do believe, though, that the religious right, the far religious right, has co-opted this. So while it's not equal blame, they do bear a big part of the responsibility for this.
Sure.
So
sure.
I agree. I so far we're in agreement. I think a call to action for a riot maybe, but we're not on the public airwaves. So we just can't say go and burn down a building. I think if you had said, I think people should protest, that's probably better than
they should peacefully riot. They should peacefully riot.
Can you peacefully riot?
You can peacefully riot.
You can rowdy. You can do a rowdy demonstration. Can you
a riot's just riot? A riot's just a loud protest. Some people take it too far and make it violent, but a riot's just a loud protest.
Did you happen to see the police in Los Angeles? Jodie Sweetin was one of the girls on Full House, the Bob Saget comedy. I think she was Stephanie, maybe, or one of the daughters. I didn't watch the show. But yesterday, there's a big march in Los Angeles against this Supreme Court ruling. And the cops, like she's tried to lead the crowd away from the freeway. And everybody's just walking and chanting and blah, blah, blah. And the cops basically manhandle her and toss her to the ground. And it's like, oh, here we go. Now we're adding other fuel to this fire. It's just, the whole thing is crazy. But the bottom line is, we're moving in a direction that this country is not supposed to be moving in. We are now being governed because all right. So let's take your premise, Cody, which I agree with, that the bottom line for this decision is all economics.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you read the dissent, or if you read Clarence Thomas's opinion, he's now calling for the court to look into all these other social opinions and social decisions, whether it's gay marriage or birth control, everything. He mentioned everything except interracial marriage. Where is the economics there? Now, you could argue that the birth control ties into this, because if we're not going to fund birth control, those, we're still going to have our class of people who need those minimum wage jobs. But gay marriage and, that other stuff, what's that if not a Christian, air quotes, directive, or a Christian kind of a moral majority movement to lead this country down a certain road?
Yeah, smoke and mirrors, but there are correct me if I'm wrong, there are economic benefits to being married, right? Don't you get tax breaks?
You do get a tax break, but not that much.
Well, enough.
Okay. Enough
to where they don't want gay people to get married to each other and have a tax break.
See, but I think it's easy to say that, and that makes sense. But there's another layer to this. I do believe there is another layer where their morality and their Christian beliefs are going to think that, gay marriage is disgusting. And so they don't want this country. This country wasn't founded on that. And that's why they keep going back and quoting laws from the 1860s and stuff like that. It's just, they want to take us back to a different time. Even today, the ruling that came out that the football coach could kneel, he's a public school, high school football coach, that he could kneel and pray. And they were like, but the district said he couldn't do it. So he sued and went all the way to the Supreme Court. The people on the side of the school board were saying, listen, there's an implicit message coming from the coach that this is how it has to be. If you want to play, you kneel and you pray with us and you're part of the team. And if you're not, but why are we why is the Supreme Court getting involved in this kind of stuff, if not to say, all right, this is just one more step toward the goal of one nation under God, Yeah,
that one's pretty messed up. I still believe that I hear what you're saying, and
I agree with you too.
I concede that maybe there's more of this that is religiously driven than I will choose to admit.
Okay,
but yeah, I think I really do think that I'm not like creating a cartoon, and you're not saying this, but I'm just trying to kind of process this out loud a little bit. Like, I don't think I'm creating like a cartoon villain straw man of like, like money root of all evil. But like, I do firmly believe that in the grand scheme of pretty much everything, money is the root of all the evil, especially in this country. And it is the primary driving force behind all of this. And it's certainly not compassion or empathy. So the religious component is complicated, I would say, very complicated. I think, is it being used as just a lever of manipulation? Is it truly like where some of these ideas just come from, right? Like, but I think, some people might say like some people I saw on Twitter, it's people exercising their power over others. Like these men on the Supreme Court wanted to like put power over the women or whatever. I don't know. I've never had that much power. I don't know how much, when you get to a certain point of power, like how much you're motivated by power to just accumulate more power. I assume there's some of that.
I would assume it's a huge motivator.
Sure, we've seen it through history,
right?
But also, but at the same time, money is the tangible iteration of power, right? It's the tangible like version of it. So it kind of goes hand in hand. So I think there's a convoluted, complicated interweaving of the religious part and the monetary part. But at the end of the day, I kind of blame the money. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think, and also Maureen echoed this in the comments, really, she said they make us fight a culture war in order to hide that it's actually a class war and the wealthy are winning. I would say it's more of a class war than a culture war.
The effects of this decision are going to be more heavily felt on women of color and women in the lower economic rungs of society. But there have been a lot of wars and millions of people killed in the name of religion throughout history.
Yeah.
So I will concede the money and the power part, but I will not back away from that religion and a warped desire for a Christian nation, whatever that means, is at the root of this too, because it may have been sold by people who wanted to stay in power and all that, the money issues that you're talking about, but it was adopted and fertilized and grown by far-right religious organizations. Now, this is a country that has free. We all can worship how we want, and I'm proud of that. I think that's terrific. But I fall more on the side of how I worship. My relationship to God or whoever I worship is my business. Yours isn't better than mine. You don't get to tell me what to do. And they didn't make the final decision. There's no church here that made the final decision. There's a lot of churches that are very excited about it, the Catholic Church included. The Cardinal came out, oh, he was very happy about this. But we'll still continue to welcome people who've made all kinds of decisions. Oh, really? Okay, thanks. That's fantastic. But yeah, so I mean, that's really all I want. I just wanted to get that off my chest and just I'm livid about this because I don't see this as the final step. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I think that the way the court is now and the fact that I truly believe that the Democrats are going to be out of the majority in November after the midterms, things are going to continue to change and may not be changing for the better for a majority of people, because the majority of people were in favor of Roe staying a law, and that doesn't matter.
It's not how this country works. Hold on. They're only going to be in the majority if you didn't give $20 to Nancy Pelosi, the multimillionaire insider trading piece of shit that's in our Senate, and
listen, she
totally
needs
worthless.
money for her husband's drunk driving defense.
She
Cody.
does,
Let's
right?
be
So
honest.
look, if you didn't give her $20, Brian,
I did
then
not.
frankly, the Republicans owning the world is your fault.
Well, that's probably true.
Church and religion, I think, is very complicated in this country. I work for a remote company, actually, with a lot of religious people in the executive team, and I was at an executive meeting recently, and it was striking to me, like every person, like half the company, they met their spouse at church or at some kind of church event or whatever, and there's so much.
That's fine.
No, sure. There's so much community, and it is infrastructurally so like religion all right, the church as an institution has played a very important role socially throughout history, right? It was the town center, it was the town square.
Yes.
It served many different purposes, and like America doesn't really have that. We kind of have Facebook, we kind of have Twitter, we kind of have social media. They're all cesspools, right? They're all kind of anonymous, they're full of trolls, they're kind of weird, but like I don't go to church currently in my suburb because I moved during the pandemic, and I just never picked up the ball and actually got my butt to go there. But I am very disconnected and isolated within my community. And I that's probably for many people in Illinois and many other places in the country. But I think there are parts of the country where it is a fundamental core part of the actual like society that you live in. But what's complicated about that is because, we can talk about far right people and evangelicals and all these things, but it's hard to divorce the ideology from like the social service it serves. So what I'm saying is basically like there are many contexts in which having a strong church community in the country is extraordinarily good for people's mental health and well-being and many different things. And I know you're not casting any aspersions on churches in general at all, but it is a hard ball to untangle because at the same time, a lot of times they they become ideological echo chambers, right? And sometimes they become a little bit extreme. So maybe you're down somewhere in Georgia or whatever. You got like 700 people at some mega church. They're all best friends. They're all meeting their spouses there. They're all really great. But they all get radicalized at a pretty young age. And, they're going to abortion rallies, anti-abortion rallies when they're 3. And they grow up thinking this is evil and stuff and not understanding the health parts of it or whatever. So we live in a weird country is what I'm trying to say. And I don't have a point in arguing against anything you've said.
No, I know. I understand.
Yeah, I just
think you're allowed your point, even if you were arguing against everything I said. That's okay.
Which I would, but we're in a very weird country, and religion specifically. Like I mean, my God, like my family is so active in the church, and they have fed so many families, and like made Christmas happen for children that like would not have Christmas ever in their lives, and like just the most like saint-like activities. But at the same time, like it is a place that perpetuates sometimes certain beliefs that are outmoded and that have been proven, maybe wrong by science or don't quite fit into what a modern progressive society should be. and then you run into this tension, and I have a lot of empathy for, if I come across like I'm kind of like trying to excuse or justify anything that come from the religious part. It's not that. I don't agree with it. But there's more to it than just there are these extremist crazy people that believe this thing. Like there's a core social infrastructure like that they have that like a lot of people in cities and in more liberal areas like don't even have. So it's crazy, man. We live in a weird world. I don't know what to do.
We do live in a weird world, and I will give you that. Yes, your points about church being a center of community for a lot of people is true. I used to find great comfort in going to church. I do not find that same comfort because I have begun to, I started questioning things, and I think it becomes harder. Not that people who go to church every week or who are very devout in their religion don't question things. I think there is an element of blind faith. I think there is an element of we have to follow what our leader says, whether it's a pastor or a priest or a minister or, whoever is leading your religion. And I think because of that, it goes to your point of people can become indoctrinated.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is not to say this is not an indictment of religion. It's an indictment of using that pulpit to spread whether it's hate or bigotry or false information. And then because you are doing that, you also set yourself up that the non-believers or the heretics, anybody who doesn't fall in line with what you are teaching at your particular church are wrong. And your way is the only way that we can go to heaven or lead a good life or be productive members of society or care about our fellow man. And that's the part to me that I think is crap. And I think like anything else, there is a vast majority of people who believe in whatever religion they believe in that are decent human beings. They are we're all the same. But then there is the fringe, and the fringe we know is the loudest, and the extremists are the loudest. And if you want to fight back against that, if those people are under the same tent as you are religiously, I think if you disagree with them, it is incumbent upon you to then make yourself as loud as them, because that's the problem. We let the bullies and the loudmouths run the show in a lot of different places, whether it's politics, religion, business. The people who are the loudest, the people who press their beliefs the most, they get all the attention. And I don't believe that the majority of people who practice religion believe these things, but there's enough, and they have been co-opted by evil politicians whose agenda has been, for whatever reason, to make this Supreme Court ruling and others go away. But this has been the one that they have been targeting for 50 years. And it's been a long process of convincing legislators and then working the populace and convincing the populace that this is the issue this is the mountain we're going to die on, is pro-choice and pro-life. And that's the way it goes. So there's my not rebuttal to what you said, but my answer to what you've said.
It was a good yes and. You yes anded me.
I try to yes and, Cody, whenever I can. Give me a location. And if you don't say abortion clinic, you are not keeping up.
Oh man. Oh man. I've
been there's no bright spot in this except for the fact that thank God Debbie knows how I really feel, because I have been talking about how I'm so happy that finally, they're starting to take away the rights of these mouthy women. But now if somebody pulls that out of context, because I was listening to some of the out of context things you used to produce for the overnight show, if somebody pulls that out, can you believe it? You got to cancel me. No, I just keep teasing Debbie. I go, oh, see, that's why you don't have rights anymore.
I'm not going to do that. And hey, we broadcast this at 8 p.m. Central on Monday nights on Brian Noonan Show's Facebook page and also on his YouTube channel. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Maureen, Marta, and Mike for some really thoughtful comments, and Sandy in the chat. Some really just nice conversation here about like the things we're talking about. So thanks for engaging. We're reading all of them, even if we're not reading them all out loud. Like they're all really good points, talking about different social aspects of churches, and some agreeing with us, some offering some other thoughts. But man, yeah, there's some really good stuff, and I like that's really validating for me and Brian.
I agree with Cody 100%.
Yeah, as broadcasters, and God, when we used to work at we're the world's greatest newspaper radio station. God, wow, the text message line was not so thoughtful. Be like, let this idiot on the air. He doesn't like the Blackhawks. I like the Sox. I like the Cubs, and he likes the Sox. And I'm a Cubs fan. What he not? I'm from Texas. Yeehaw! Let's just make fun of Texas.
How do you not make fun of Texas?
Well,
because what came first? Twitter came before the text line, right?
Or
did Twitter come before?
No.
I think so. Because we started reading tweets.
Yes.
Because people would tweet at us, and then the text line came, and that gave every mouth breather with two thumbs or one thumb a way to get to us. So segue. I blocked my first Twitter person.
Wait, hold on. First, I want to say one more thing.
Speaking of making fun of, you got to do
making fun of Texas. One other thing, just to localize this a little bit, in case you want to really get active. My wife was reading some I don't know about this whole news story, and it turns out Wisconsin's abortion laws are actually worse than Alabama's.
Yes, however, the governor of Wisconsin he's been at Tony Evers is at odds with the Republican legislature in Wisconsin, because the Republicans have been in power. They were in power in the legislature and in the governor's office, and they passed some horrendous bills against choice. But now Evers is saying he is going to fight hard to keep that going.
Mine are correct. Well, I don't know if it's a correction, but I don't know about the passing of the bills. But evidently, due to this thing, Wisconsin has automatically reverted to the abortion laws that were created in 1837.
That's right.
1837. And
Cody, if it was good enough for people in Conestoga wagons, it's good enough for us.
What I should tell you, like, the personal connection is that one of the people in our wedding party is an OBGYN in Milwaukee.
Yes.
So
they were forced immediately Friday to shut everything down.
I know. Like, so for any, I mean, that, like, this is not theoretical or hypothetical for us, right? This is a person that tells us specific stories about specific patients, sometimes who die. I mean, like, not without, not violating HIPAA laws, but like,
no, I understand.
Broadly speaking, like,
I had a patient who, you don't know.
I had a patient who, and those patients, like, we're talking about a friend of ours who will be responsible for the life of someone who does not survive. Like, that is about as serious as you can possibly get. And my other friend is an electrocardiologist. He just works in heart stuff. He didn't even touch babies, really. And he also was just like immediately, like, he's like, the hospital is just a total ass show right now because, like, of all this. So, like, we have friends who are medical professionals in Wisconsin, and it is quite alarming what they are having to deal with, because in Wisconsin, it is a felony to do certain things in terms of caring for your patients. It is now a felony. So it's I know you talk about the pardoning and the fighting and, the government, whatever, but, like, end of the day, I have friends that need to decide between like
Right.
helping save a life and committing a felony.
Well, that's what I was talking about back when you said, well, there's the cases of,
Yeah.
so your friends, especially your friend who's an OBGYN, those, I can't imagine that weight of that decision. Where you go, I didn't get into medicine to break the law.
Right.
I got into medicine to save people and help people. And now I have to worry that if I'm trying to save this woman's life, I might get prosecuted. What?
Ooh,
What
a firework, Brian. A firework went off.
Can't wait.
It's the 4th of July. You ready
It
to
is the 4th
celebrate
of July.
America?
Nice segue. Yes, I'm all about America. All about America, Cody.
Yes, I'm going to celebrate America. I'm going to take a dump in my toilet.
I do that every day. Some days it does feel like a celebration, though.
But if you eat enough sorbet, it dumps out red, white, and blue.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Like a Dairy Queen swirl?
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. All right. What do we move on to now? Well, let's say that this part of the conversation is over.
Marta asking, is that the first of the fireworks I've seen this year, Cody? I don't see it. I was just pointing. I hear it. They hear it everywhere. We're
having a lot around. I haven't seen any around here, but I'm hearing a lot.
Yeah.
It's the city.
Whom did you block for? In fact, I need to see if I'm banned from Twitter, because earlier tonight
Why would you get banned from Twitter?
I told someone earlier tonight he is truly, oh yeah. I tweeted and I quote, "Wow, you are truly a piece of shit."
No, your account is still active. I'm looking at it right now.
It's because there was a professional. So long story short, there's a professional wrestler married couple.
Okay.
The guy got injured and the woman tweeted, who's an amazing women's wrestler, "Some of you will truly never understand the lengths some wrestlers will go to make sure you are entertained, regardless of how horribly you treat them online. It goes far beyond the bumps and bruises you see, yet they are endlessly devoted to their fans." And then someone replied and was like, "FFS," which means for freak's sake, "You play a character, laughing icons. You are in the public eye. You are open to criticism. Deal with it." So I tweeted, and I said, "Wow, you are truly a piece of S." And then Twitter was like, "Warning. We don't think you should probably say this. This does not seem like it's a good conduct thing. Are you sure you want?" And it's like delete or edit or send. Yeah. And I was like, I don't care if you ban me for 3 days. Send it. Because I needed to tell him that he is a piece of S.
And did he respond, or did you block him?
I didn't block him, because if I blocked him, he wouldn't see it. So I just left it. But right. I have not been banned yet, but you have blocked someone.
I blocked it for the first time ever. And we've gotten, listen, through the whole moped situation, I didn't block anybody.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So this was
4 edibles after this.
I don't blame you. I should have brought some edibles up with this too. But there's some woman in Milwaukee who other guys on the station have blocked. And so she would, when I'm on it, TMJ, she will send me, some tweets and, "Hey, and by the way, will you ask so-and-so to unblock me?" And so I talked to one of the producers. I go, "What's the deal?" He goes, "Oh man, be careful with this one. It's out of her mind. She's, we've blocked her. A lot of people blocked her. She's just nuts." I'm like, all right. She never said anything to me, but I tweeted, I don't know, just something about my anger on Friday. Could have been, I don't know what it was, but it was something. Oh, here it is. I said, "Are we still fixated on gas prices today? Shame on SCOTUS and their attempt to take us back to the 50s when America was great," in quotes. "While I'm at it, F the Democrats in Congress for spending their time infighting instead of codifying Roe." And she sent me a tweet that said, "Next time you are on, I will not listen to you. I will never listen to you again." And I wanted to just tweet back, "I don't give a shit," but I didn't. I just blocked her. I'm like, I don't care. I really do not care anymore. If you know what, if you like, I want people to listen to this. I want people to listen when I'm on the air. I want people to enjoy themselves when they're at my show. But if because you know my personal stance on something, you don't want to listen, okay, see ya. See ya. I don't care. it doesn't matter anymore. Because at the end of the day, we all have to look ourselves in the mirror. And if you're not honest with yourself, or if you're afraid that people are, and I operated this way for way too many years. And Cody, this is the new me.
Oh boy.
Only because I used to only worry if people were going to get mad. Are people going to like this? And now I'm not going out of my way to be offensive but like what I tweeted, I truly believe.
Yeah.
And if you don't like that, well, I don't care.
What do you think, listeners, of us dropping bad word?
I apologize for saying the
I
S
want to
word.
know what you think, listeners. Is it funny?
Yes.
Are you like, are you like,
have we offended you?
Are you like, I listened to Brian and Cody on the radio for like 10 years. I never heard him swear. This is hilarious. Are you like, this is offensive and upsetting? Are you like, why is Cody eating 20 milligrams of THC
yes, why?
on camera right now? Like, are you asking these questions?
Why is Brian openly drinking alcohol during the broadcast? What's going on?
That's fine.
What is happening? Yeah, I don't think so. And I apologize. It's laziness to a certain extent, but it's also true anger. Because normally we don't, it's only when we get really upset that we drop an S or something like that.
Question.
And,
what's the alternative to S show?
Spit show.
Right. But like, there's, you know what I mean? Like
right.
There's no.
Mike likes our uncensored takes, but Mike also enjoys, calling people douche canoes. So Mike, I knew where Mike was going to stand on this. There was no question. If anybody was going to go, hey, you guys say whatever you want, I knew it was going to be Mike.
Yeah, one of our connections hiccup for 1 second, but we're good. But Mike was very consistent on the DC takes every week, and then he stopped for a while. So I miss those. We notice these things.
Yeah,
I miss it. Some people swear. You know what? You know what's funny? Actually, Marcia said in the chat, some people swear well, some people swear badly. And when my first class in Second City, my first ever class in Second City level A, which you just sign up for, you didn't do an audition or anything.
Sure.
I went in and I said, we went around the room and it was like, why do you want to do improv? Why do you want to try this? Why are you at this class? And I remember my response. I said, I tend to get laughs from people, and I tend to get laughs when I swear sometimes or say certain things. And I'm wondering, I just kind of want to figure out and understand, like, am I actually funny about some things, or am I just funny when I say like S or F? And I dropped a couple curse words and everyone laughed. So when I swear, I guess it's pretty funny, but like, then I was like, see, you proved my point. I want to make sure I can make you laugh without that. And, maybe sometimes I've done it. Other times I haven't. I don't know.
Well, in the last year or so, since I started doing stand-up more regularly again, I have made a conscious effort not to use the F word. I'll still throw the S out there and a good GD. And, but I was like, sure. But I decided I wasn't going to say F. And there's always been this thing in the back of my head there. A joke is funny, or it was kind of like what you said. Was this joke only funny? Now there was one joke I had where I had it with F. It's about roadkill. Just a stupid little throwaway that I do when I'm on the road to get people. And I wrote it with F. And I have tried it with every other word, and it doesn't get the laugh. But I think because of the visual that I create and the expletive that I shout out when this thing happens, I get it. That I can do. But here we will endeavor to always, because if you're listening with your kids, but really, is shit that bad a word?
No. So
what am I, George Carlin?
I just want to. All right. So my bookcase around the corner from my podcast studio.
Yes.
I have
a library.
Thank you. I have all the books of the authors that I interviewed when I was with the Curiosity podcast.
Yes, I remember that.
I interviewed this professor at UC San Diego, Professor Benjamin Bergen, and he wrote this book called What the F? What Swearing Reveals About Our Language, Our Brains, and Ourselves.
Yes.
And it's a really fun book. It's a really fun book. That's not what the F stands for, by the way, but it is a fun book. It's called What the F? Benjamin Bergen with an E-N. And there's some chapters on like the neuroscience, right? Like pain actually relieves pain if we shout an expletive when we hurt ourselves. Like it physically, like the neurotransmitters, it's really crazy stuff. And what he told us in the interview when I interviewed him is that swearing as it was conceived when like you were young, Brian, or even when I was little, is different than what is considered offensive now. And now it's considered, I feel like I've talked about this on the show before.
Well, we had him, didn't we have him we had someone talking about profanity on the radio show too.
Maybe I booked him on our show or I talked about it, but basically, the long story short, what people find offensive now is it's more offensive to basically call someone stupid or a moron or an idiot than it is, or a slur against a class of people, whether it's protected or not. If it's insulting a person versus like an F-bomb, no one like Gen Z, they don't really care. Or saying SHIT, you know, like us dropping that, and that's a sliding
double hockey sticks, Cody. Double hockey sticks.
Well, when I started at WGN Radio in 2007, like we were not going to say SHIT double hockey sticks on the radio. That would never would happen.
Why would we even say shittle?
Shittle, who knows? But these days, you know, you and I are doing this thing now, and it's like, you know, we'll let a little S-bomb, but they do it on AEW sometimes. Like I see it on TV. So that's the changing standard, and I find that fascinating. So it's a good book on linguistics if you're interested in that kind of stuff. It's from like 10 years ago. There may be a new edition.
I remember. I know you've talked about it either here or on the radio, I know we interviewed somebody. It might not have been this guy, but it was someone with a related topic, because profanity. I always remember, and I've told this story before, the one thing I always remember about swearing is Father Stan Wisniewski at St. Ignatius. He was about 2.5 feet tall and about 4 feet wide, and he was a Jesuit, and I had him for English. During the summer, when he wasn't teaching a bunch of really stinky boys at St. Ignatius, he would go out to Reno, and he would do priestly things in Reno, and he said, profanity is the linguistic crutch of the ignorant. And I think of that every once in a while. I go, he's effing wrong. It's not true. You can be very, very creative with profanity, and it is hilarious. Hilarious. All right.
I was gonna say something else.
I can't wait. What's the new project? What's the project that's not the bench? Because last week you said you were going to have to, instead of buying patio furniture, you were going to create it like an Amish person.
All right. In our living room, behind our couch.
Yes.
We have 4 walls. They're stucco. The whole first floor is stucco.
Behind your couch, you have 4 walls. This is a weird word problem. Hold on.
Very weird. Very strange.
I got to get out an abacus.
The whole downstairs is all stucco walls from the 30s because our house was built in 1939 or something.
Okay.
And behind the couch, the bottom half of the wall, there's a chair rail and then wood paneling.
Yes.
It's white wood paneling, and my wife hates it, and she's hated it since we moved in, and she's wanted to rip it out. And every couple weeks, she'll say, when can we put a date on the calendar to rip out the wood paneling? I hate this wood paneling. This wood paneling is horrific. On and on. I mean, she's not nagging me. She's just reminds me that she hates it, and I understand. And I say, someday we will rip it out.
Someday.
It probably will be a huge pain in the butt. Who knows what's back there? Maybe there's a big hole in the wall. Maybe there's bugs. Maybe it's like Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom.
Ooh, you think the Ark of the Covenant is in your living room?
That and a lot of roaches. I don't know, man.
Snakes on a plane could be that too.
So Friday rolls around, I get off work, and I literally, we were going to do yard work, and we didn't feel like it, or it was raining or something. And I was like, I said something, one of us said something jokingly about the panels. I went outside to the garage. I grabbed my paint scraper and hammer, and I just ripped that sucker off.
What's behind it?
Well, here's what's behind it. I'll show you a picture here.
Is that just exposed brick?
It's a whole lot of wood glue.
Oh,
a lot of wood glue, like a large
oh no,
quantity of squiggles of wood glue.
Oh, they just glued it on.
Oh man, I mean, it was. There were also lots and lots of brads that they had punched it in. Those I got out with pliers, no problem.
Sure.
There's a huge amount of wood glue. Here's the issue. I can't just sand it off because it's not just flat drywall, it's stucco. And so what I got
No, because then you would have to scrape the entire wall.
Right. Well, and again, the whole first floor is stucco walls.
Yeah.
I needed to match. I'm not going to have the bottom half of one wall be flat sanded.
Okay.
So now what I have to do, and my wife is pregnant, so we didn't know this was going to be the project. She didn't think she was signing me up for this. But here we are, because now we've got all these strips. So I've got to take this very strong acetone goo. I didn't get Goo Gone. I got Goof Off. Off-brand.
Okay.
Whatever. Goof Off super glue.
you went cut right on your goo remover?
I don't know. So I got heavy duty acetone filled adhesive removal stuff. I got to slather on 3 layers. Wait a minute. And then rub it off. Use a lot of elbow grease to wipe it off with a towel. Then I'll probably still have to sand it. Then we'll have to primer the wall. Then she wants to paint it a color that I don't want her to paint it, but I'm still going to do it because I'm a really good husband. So that sucks.
Oh, all right. I'm going to give you you're a good husband. What color is the question now?
It's not we painted 2 walls. Very dark navy blue, way darker than my backdrop, really dark, darker than this bottle, very dark navy blue, because they're accent walls, and you're allowed to paint 2 walls super dark because they're accent walls. That's the definition of accent wall. Well, this is a 3rd wall, and that one apparently is going to be a super dark navy. So we live in a living room that is a black box of darkness.
Oh, come and do a one-man show there then.
Sure. Yeah, it'll be great.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic.
That sounds very dark, because I've been in your living room and you've got you got a window in on both sides, but that seems like foreboding in that space that you have. It seems a bit claustrophobic.
To be fair, this is the wall that has 2 giant arches. One goes in the entryway, one goes into the dining room. So it's not that much wall space, and she wants to cover the area above the couch completely with pictures. One of those things where you put 40 frame pictures.
Yeah. Okay.
So theoretically, it won't be that bad.
Okay.
I hate the idea, and I am nervous it will suck, but I am a very good husband, and so I am going to entertain her.
Is there a compromise in this?
No.
There is no compromise.
No compromise in this.
Okay.
This has been.
Can you put up a splotch of it and let her see what it would look like? Or she knows it'd be the same color as the other walls, right?
I said, if you pick the paint color, then I get to pick our child's name.
Ooh. Wow.
She initially considered it, but I don't know if the baby name thing is a whole thing too. We had a name picked out for a boy.
Okay.
We were agreed and set on it.
What was it?
Then we found out we're probably having a girl. Well, we're having a girl. So we're having a girl.
Hey, well, let me just say this. Hang on to that boy name. Only because, and he is not ashamed of this story, my friend Jimmy Pardo, who I was out with last weekend, He has a wonderful son named Oliver, who is going into his sophomore year in high school. Oliver's a fine young man. Oliver was supposed to be Olivia because all the way up until Oliver made his debut in the world, the doctors told them that they were having a girl. All the way up until, oh, you're having a girl. The nursery was ready for a girl. Everything was ready for a girl. They had a boy.
How'd they make that mistake?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
No.
And I'm not even a half-assed physician who can't tell the difference. Maybe they thought the umbilical cord was a thing. You are having a very, very happy man as a baby. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Listen.
There was a blood test involved. It was a whole thing. I think that
Do men and women have different blood?
Chromosomes. It checks the chromosomes.
All right, listen.
Different chromosomes. Anyway, we were all set. And then it was like, no, it's girl. Start over. Not Aerith or Zelda, though those are great names.
Zelda was going to be my guess.
So I had this boy name picked out. We had this boy name picked out, and I was like, this is great. And then I was looking at lists. We're like, all right. So what are we going to do?
You can tell everybody the boy name was Zonk.
No, I'm not going to tell everybody because it turns out I did a little Googling. The boy name we had picked out and agreed on is a unisex name.
Wow.
However,
it's Pat.
It's a unisex name you would definitely think is a guy name, like a Connor or something, right? Like I've met a girl named Connor, but
Bruce.
Like, you'd probably think Connor is a boy name, right?
I would say Connor's more a male-leaning name. I don't want to get canceled.
Maybe like a Devin, might be. You'd think is maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
And you like when you think about it for a second, you're like, oh, I can see a girl named that. But like at first you're like, that is a boy name, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I found out it's a girl name. And then I thought about it for a little bit. And I was like, I actually love that for a girl name.
Really?
And she hates it for a girl name. So we both had kind of agreed tentatively on a second. We were all in on this boy name. We were kind of like, well, and if it's a girl, we'll name it this. And so we have like a girl name that was like kind of also decided on. So we have one that we're pretty agreed on that she, I think, would be fine with.
Okay.
If I decide I want it to be that, but there's one that I really am gunning for. So I'm like in campaign mode. I'm like Nancy Pelosi after abortion becomes illegal. You know what I mean? I'm just ready to take someone's money. Let's go. Let's beat those Republicans so we can read poetry on the Senate floor. That's what I want to do down here at Tejas. Yee-ho! Pow, 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 pow! Oh, that dastardly bunny! I'm gonna shoot. It's rabbit season. It's duck season. It's rabbit season. You know what I'm saying? So, the point of all that is
that you need help.
I need so much help. So, where are we talking about? What's the point of all that?
Oh, your stucco wall, your dark blue stucco wall, and how you're trying to, you're gonna get to name the baby if she picks the paint.
God, I hope so.
Wow.
No.
Is it Algernon?
It is Algernon. How did you know that? You read sci-fi short stories?
I know flowers for Algernon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not an idiot.
You're illiterate.
I am. You're right. Somebody read me flowers for Algernon. I am illiterate. Someone read it to me. That's it.
How many edibles have you had?
I haven't had any, which is unfortunate because I'm parsing it out. I can't get to Colorado to get my edibles.
Why not?
Because they only sell them in Colorado.
Fly to Colorado, mail them via U.S. mail. They're not allowed legally to search your mail. And then at least not until they overturn whatever
right.
law that was.
What if I'm sending, female contraceptive aids or morning after pills or something?
Then good luck.
Edibles and morning after pills. I'm going to be like Smokey and the Bandit. I'm just going to start, I'm going to load up a truck and just go to all these states because Illinois is all by itself. We're an island. But anyway, so what are you going to do? You're going to paint the wall this dark blue color. You guys are going to live in a room that emotionally is representing depression. But you're going to try to brighten it up with pictures of your family and friends and
nope, no family and no people, no people.
What are the pictures going to be?
She will not put pictures of people. I convinced her that I want to put pictures of people in an upstairs hallway. No, I know. It's a whole thing. She doesn't like to decorate with pictures of people. I like to have pictures of my friends and family up. I am going to do that in my office and in the hallway outside our bedroom. Those are the only places where we will have pictures of people. On the walls. There's some, yeah.
Is there reasoning by? I've never heard something like this. I'm just wondering if there's reasoning. Like, is it a cultural thing? Is it I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
I can tell you off air.
All right. This is exciting. Now everybody's jealous. Brian, Cody, why don't you do a subscription series where you only tell us the stuff that you have to tell people off the air? Who knows? We'll see. That may be in the offing.
If you go to patreon.com/Brian Noonan Show, you'll get to nothing because we don't have a Patreon.
Yeah, we don't have a Patreon. We're not, we haven't started begging yet, but hang on.
Yet
is always
throw it in the comments if you want us to have a Patreon where you can give us money for me to talk trash about my wife.
Wow.
I really like my wife. She's great.
Well, I like your wife too. That's very unusual. I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
That's why I'm dying to hear that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck with this whole pay. Can you use heat? Can you get like a heat gun that will melt the adhesive rather than all the chemicals, or would that not work?
We were going to use a hairdryer. Do you have a heat gun?
No, I don't.
Maybe
but
we'll
I think you would need more heat than a hairdryer.
All right. I'll call Roger.
Speaking of Roger, happy birthday. Roger turned 70 the other day.
What?
He's now officially an old man. Yes. So Roger, if you listen to this later or someone will send you a message, happy birthday. He sent me some text. He's very, he's been working so hard on his garden and his outdoor areas. And it seems like, it's all coming together. It looks great. But he texted me about beer recommendations for his, he's got that big fridge out in his garage. And so he was looking for, he goes, what's good beer? And I'm like, what are you looking for? Because that's kind of an open-ended question. So I made a couple recommendations. And then yesterday I get a picture from him. He's somewhere and they had Bourbon County Stout, the original, and that cola flavor one. And he's like, which one of these should I get? And I'm like, well, I don't know. The originals are always a good bet. So he has some. He goes, I'm getting some for you, me, and Cody. I said, well, I can't wait till we come over again. So hopefully we all get to see Roger soon and Bridget, because he got a bunch of stuff for his outdoor area, it seemed like, for his birthday, which was nice.
He texted me and said, hey, I've got some BCS for you and Brian next time you come over. And I was like, Roger, you don't have to bribe me to come hang out. I mean,
yeah, we're not just going to drop by. We did have a great time when we were at his house.
We did. I was like, yeah, dude, come on. You live close. We'll hang out. I love hanging out. I feel bad I haven't had him out here yet, but we haven't really hosted anybody.
Well, nobody really did because it was 2 years of pandemic. So I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, well, none of us live far. The three of us don't live far from each other. So this summer we'll get together over here or wherever. Yeah. So, all right, I'm looking at my list. So, all right. So Roger turned 70. That was good. Maybe Roger has a heat gun. I know we had one at my dad had one, and I don't know why. It might've been for taking off like wallpaper glue and stuff like that. Cause there wasn't a lot of arts and crafts going on at the house. So I don't know what we'd have a giant heat gun for. I told you I've gotten into hot glue. If you ever need hot glue guns, I've got a bunch of those.
I know you're into hot glue. I don't need to hear about your private life like that. I draw a line somewhere.
I am excited for the 4th of July. Yeah, I'm going to get off of that because, listen, if you want to see my hairless nipples, you'll know why I'm excited. But I get to watch fireworks on a lake this year.
What?
Theoretically.
Why?
This is the plan.
Tell me.
I will. Thank you. We haven't done this. I'm going to Michigan for the 4th of July.
Michigan, I hardly knew her.
How many edibles did you have?
Doesn't matter.
All right. Yeah, we're going up to Debbie's aunt and uncle have a beautiful lake house near Flint. Now I've only been there I think once. Debbie and Molly have been there. They've been there a few more times because when we all got together, when everybody was together at Debbie's mom's funeral, her uncle was like, we should get together. Why don't you guys plan on coming up on the 4th of July? So we're going to go up, but it's this beautiful house on this lake. And they do on the 3rd, or the Saturday night of 4th of July weekend, they do fireworks out on the lake. And her uncle's got a pontoon boat. So we'll be sitting out on the pontoon boat. And I can't really do any lake activities though. Like I can go out on the boat, but I can't walk around barefoot because of my, my current foot situation. Is not so yeah. But to be honest, I don't I don't want to be. I tried jet skiing up there once. It was fine. I like sitting on a pontoon boat. And I said to Debbie, "Can I drink on that pontoon boat?" She said yes. I said, "Then I'm all in on the pontoon boat." And I also asked if I could bring a cigar to sit on the dock. I'm going to sit on the dock of the bay and watch the tide roll in. That's what I'm going to do. So we'll see. We're leaving. This is the recipe for disaster. We're leaving for Michigan on Friday.
Oh, so, good.
Yeah, a good plan on our part. This might be, if I survive the drive up, it'll be a miracle. Because then Debbie's like, I want to go. She grew up there, and she wants to go to this hot dog joint for lunch. She's like, I want to go to hot dog heaven. It's like an old school drive-in that she used to work at in high school. I'm like, what? I stupidly said, what do they have there? She goes, hot dogs. Idiot. So, but then I could sense there was a lot of depression on her face today because she looked up hot dog heaven and it's changed its name.
Oh no.
To just the hot dog stand. Now Debbie hasn't been up there in, I don't know how long. So it doesn't surprise me that a place she worked at in high school is no longer there. But she was like, well, forget it then. I said, no, now we got to go.
Yeah.
She's like, a hot dog on the menu. A hot dog, Cody. Just a hot dog. A hot dog.
Yeah.
$4 for a hot dog.
That's a lot.
That seems like a lot at a drive-in. Like where they put the tray on your window and some pimply high school kid brings out, a watered down soda pop and an $8 hot dog.
Not going to lie. I only went to one drive-in where they clipped the thing on your window ever. That was somewhere in Rockford. I think maybe a Sonic, but this was 30 years ago, probably. No idea, but I loved it. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I'm like, we're cool. Sitting in the car and they're bringing you the tray. And oh my God, I loved it.
We used to go to Dog and Suds when I was a kid. And that's, I guess, what the hot dog heaven was at first. Dog and Suds was a chain of drive-ins that were known for their root beer. And like I would go with my dad and it was right next to the car wash. So on the once or twice every, bi-yearly when we would go and wash the car, I would get to we'd go to Dog and Suds after. And then Debbie and I went to a Sonic coming back from New Orleans one time because I couldn't stop talking about Sonic. Their cherry limeade is the best. I'll fight anybody who tries to tell me it's not. You want a piece of me, you know where to find me. Right here at me, because you're wrong. If you don't like Sonic's cherry limeade, you are a garbage person from Garbage Town.
Wow, a garbage person from Garbage Town. Specifically.
You're one of the founding families of Garbage Town.
You heard it here first. On Realities May Vary.
That's correct, Cody. It's Garbage People Day. Odd Realities May Vary.
But we stopped and the food was mediocre at best. I realized I had only been to Sonic for cherry limeades. I had never really eaten there. And it was okay. And they hooked the tray to your window. It was fun. And you're talking through the little speaker and then I haven't been to one where they roller skate out. That's what I want to do.
Oh, why?
Because we're going back to the 50s, Cody. That's going to be the thing. So now it's everything. We're going to have drive-in movies and car hops on roller skates, and everything's going to be great.
All right,
for you and me, because we're white dudes.
Two things.
Yeah, one.
While you were telling that story, I was listening to Eiffel 65, Blue Dabba D, the Gabri Ponte Ice Pop Mix.
I don't understand any of the words you just said, except I was listening.
You remember the Blue song? The blue da bo dee da boo die.
Oh yeah.
Right. Right. Mike posted that in the chat, and I don't know why. Someone said something that
I don't know why.
it doesn't matter. I opened it in a new window and I started listening, and it's a remix of the blue song, but it's a remix that I listened to in high school a zillion times. So I've heard this specific remix a zillion times. So I just had that on and I was talking. Oh, Blue House. Oh, the Blue House. That's right. Maybe if I play the blue song by Eiffel 65 on repeat as I'm painting it and just tell my wife, I'm gonna play this on repeat as while I'm painting this wall. Maybe she'll renege and decide to let me paint it a different color. It doesn't matter. But the second thing is when the pandemic hit. And
wow, you really want to go with a Bill Cosby impression?
Sure.
After all that's been happening in the world,
1950. He's funny again.
Oh, he is funny again. Yeah.
I don't think was he
early
born?
60s. No, he was born because he was born.
Sure. All right. So
yes.
Where do we go from there?
Where do we go? Wow.
Where do we go? Wow. Ow. Let's do this. Let's see if we can pull this out. Hold on. Wait. Hold on.
I'm still waiting for number 2.
I'm going to get to the point. All right. Let's see if we can get to the point in musical form. Okay. So.
I.
That was awesome. What was I talking about?
You had 2 points. You said I have 2 points. And then you said 1, and then you said I was listening to music. I don't know what. No, I don't know.
When the pandemic hit, when the pandemic hit, one of my favorite things to do, unironically, I mean this, and I still kind of enjoy doing it to this day, is when I'm out and, like you couldn't dine in anywhere.
Correct.
Right. I would go to even Wendy's or something. I go to Taco Bell, go through the drive-thru, get my food, park, turn off my engine, listen to a podcast, and just sit there and eat. Brian, there's something special about it.
Yeah. It reminds you of being on a road trip. Or something.
I never went on the road doing stand-up comedy like you. I was never.
No, but didn't you ever take a road trip with your family or with your friends, drive somewhere and you'd eat in the car?
No.
That's what I meant.
Not with. No.
All right.
Not really.
What you did in Rockford with your sheltered life.
Well, didn't go on road trips.
So what makes it so special to eat in the car?
I don't know. I don't know. I've only done it by myself. Well, I've done it with probably.
Was it that you wanted to get away from everybody? And that's what made it special? It could have been anywhere?
But this was before, I think this happened before my son was born, just pandemic stuff. Like I just, something nice about it. You're just in your own little cozy space. No one can bother you. It's your space, right? You can listen to whatever you want to. And there's no rush to get anywhere. You don't have to inhale the food. I am enjoying a meal in my own space that no one can mess with, wherever I want to be, eating whatever I wanted to order. It just, I don't know. It's just a nice, you're like a little king of your little sovereign.
You don't feel that way in your home?
No.
All right.
I have a 1-year-old, Brian.
Okay. Before that.
No.
See, I always feel like I eat very fast in the car.
Oh. Well, when you're driving, but when
no. Even when we sat the other day, it was last week, and Debbie and I decided we were out and we wanted a hot dog, so we went to Gene and Jude's, and it's just a stand. You used to be able to stand inside at the counter. Since the pandemic, you can't, so you got to eat in the car, which is fine. The great hot dogs and stuff, and oh man, now we're going back to talking about the best hot dog stands, Mike, just like at the beginning of the show. But it goes to Cody's point. I found myself eating very fast. And I didn't realize, because the fries come right on the hot dog. And so I had everything resting on the dashboard. And I didn't realize, and like 2 days later, I see this splotch on my windshield. I'm like, oh, I must have hit a bug. And I'm doing everything I can with the washer fluid and the windshield wipers to try, and it won't move. And I'm like, oh, this is awful. And I reached up for some reason. I scratched it. It was goo and grease from the fries that were on the inside of my windshield.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh, and I got it off, and wow, now I could see again. It was beautiful. Mike has a table that mounts on the steering wheel. That sounds like a great idea. And Cody, that would make your diet. Then you could bring a little tablecloth and fancy silverware and a candelabra. And you could have, you could hand white gloves to the person at Wendy's when they reach out through the drive-thru.
It would actually be a candelabrum.
Okay. You lost me.
It's the singular of candelabrum.
Is that right? Candelabrum?
It is actually candelabrum.
Oh man.
One candelabra is a candelabrum. I don't make the rules. I'm sorry.
All right. A large branch candlestick. You're right. Okay. Wow.
Oh, wait. It says now Wikipedia says a candelabra or candelabrum. So maybe it's changed.
Well, now in Latin, which is where it came from, candelabrum, you are correct, is singular. Candelabra is plural. Over time, English usage changed so that candelabra as the singular form and candelabras as the plural is now more common language. Mm-hmm. So perhaps we are both correct. Because you like to speak in ancient tongues.
Oh,
now it sounds like you're a Pentecostal snake handler talking in tongues.
Oh, I was gonna say, no, I'm not sterile. What are you talking about?
I hope not.
Hey,
I hope not, or somebody's got some splaining to do, Lucy.
Speaking of splaining, so are you gonna see Jurassic Park?
No, why would no? No, I haven't seen. I saw the original, and I think I saw 2. Then I saw Jurassic World. What the late, this last one with Chris Pratt. This bunch of films that has Chris Pratt in them. I saw the first one. But yeah, no, I have no. I do want to go. Why are you going to see it? Are you taking the kid and scare the hell out of him?
Not the kid. So my friend, I'm in a group text with all my high school friends, and one of my high school friends hates The Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
The last Star Wars movie, to the point where anytime something tangentially related comes up or anyone complains about a movie or TV show, he jumps in with oh, were there horses riding on a Star Destroyer? Space horses? And then goes off about how much he hates that movie and how it was awful. And when Kylo and Rey kissed near the end, someone in the theater actually screamed, "What the F?" And everyone started laughing because it was so stupid. But my friend's really funny. Anyway, apparently, Brian, Jurassic movie is the Rise of Skywalker of Jurassic Park movies because it's so painfully, offensively, poorly written. And so I was joking and I was like, Brad, I have to watch this with you. And so he's visiting me this weekend. And I don't know if we're actually going to see Jurassic.
Whatever. You must.
I don't know if we actually are, if he's just trolling. But if someone hates a film that much and there's a chance to see a film equally as bad, I gotta
go. Oh, you gotta go. I have heard, the only thing I've heard about this one is at one point, for no apparent reason, the T-Rex stands in front of a circular window so you can see his profile to make the logo.
Oh my God.
Yes, that's all. That was enough. And I went, I'm out.
Do you ever have movie theater experiences where you go with a friend and you just either make fun of it the whole time, or it's kind of ironic, or once you realize it's really bad, you kind of laugh at it, or do you just go to see the movie?
The only one that I've been with friends that I remember something weird like that happening was when we went to see the first Mad Max movie. And we walked out about halfway through because it was like, this is ridiculous. So we left. But that was it. No, normally, we save all our harumphing for after. Because I don't want to be that guy who's disturbing the theater. I'm not a jerk. So, yeah, we'll make fun of it after, but not in the theatra. I do want to see this Top Gun movie, though. First $1 billion movie for Tom Cruise.
Really?
That's right. You heard it here probably 8th.
Okay. Well,
because I read it somewhere else, so I didn't, I'm not working for the studio. But yeah, $1 billion this Maverick has made.
Yeah.
Well, good luck. I want to see if you get through with that.
We'll update. Oh, hey, we probably shouldn't do a show next.
No, we're
Tuesday,
off next week.
Monday.
It's 4th of July.
We're just off.
4th of July. It's Independence Day. We're independent. Even though it is America, we're still going to take the day off. Do all that. Hopefully I can see by then. I went, I've been wearing these same glasses for many years. Probably 5 years, 6 years. How long has Molly been out of college? It's been about 2. Yeah, probably 4 or 5 years, 6 years. Anyway, starting to get so where I'm having trouble seeing. So Debbie was like, well, we have to go get our eyes checked anyway. I need new glasses, blah, blah, blah. So she finds a joint right near the house that takes our insurance because we have vision insurance, but it's weird. I don't know if you have vision insurance through your work. It's an odd, it's not really like medical insurance. You can use it once a year and it gives you just a little bit off.
It works differently.
Yeah. So she has to find a place. Like I usually go, we've always gone to Warby Parker. I'm wearing Warby Parker glasses right now. This is my first pair of glasses. And from the moment I put them on, it was perfect. We had our eye exams done there, went through all the trauma of picking out a pair of glasses, found ones I liked. I put them on and they were like, well, your progressive lenses, it might take you a little while to get used to them. Took me about 28 seconds. I was used to them. Ready to go. Perfect. Excuse me, the bourbon's coming back. So we go to this place, and it's one of these, places where it's a joint, it's an eye joint, where the optometrist is in there and they're selling the glasses right there. It's a one-stop shop to fleece you out of your dough with expensive designer frames.
Yeah.
And as we're going in, Debbie's like, listen, we're just going to go in and get our eyes examined. And then we're going to get the prescription and we're going to go, we're going to go shopping around for the frames because we don't get that much, whatever. I'm like, fine. I listen to Debbie. We go, we get our eye things done. And then they start with if you buy one pair of frames, we'll give you X amount off the second pair of frames. And any of these glasses can be turned into sunglasses and blah, 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 blah. And Debbie starts looking around and I'm trying on 1 million glasses. And you know how much I love change. So the thought of giving up these glasses and wearing new glasses is terrifying to me and frustrating and something I don't want to do. I'm like, can't they just take these frames and pop in some new lenses so I never have to look different? No. So I try on a bunch and I find one that I kind of like. And then the girl goes, oh no, you have with your progressives and you have a high nose arch. You need a plastic one. You can't have the wire nose rests on
your
it.
high nose arch.
I guess I have a high nose arch.
Yeah.
Who knew, Cody? And so I have to have just the plastic ones with the rest and no like wire deal with the little iPads.
Lame.
So that I know, because the only pair of glasses that I really liked were those. And then because Debbie now has decided it's going to be cheaper for us to just buy them there. Let's get them. And yes, and Tammy's right. They do give the hard sell. It's like you can't get out of there without buying. So Debbie's looking, and Debbie finds some glasses that are nice. She really likes them. They look cool. And then she decides she's going to get a pair of red Ray-Ban Wayfarers as her prescription sunglasses. She's good to go. So I'm like, I'm like, I don't know. They all look like garbage to me. I look stupid in all of them. They've got 2020 across the top of them, or the eyes pop out on springs. They all look stupid. But, so I pick a pair. And then I pick some sunglasses. Well, the girl is like, she tells me the price of the one, and it's in line with, Debbie's glasses. Then she drops the price. She goes, oh, and the sunglasses will be about $550. I'm like, no, they won't. They're not going to be that at all. And then she tries to shame me. Well, we do have some that are a little more cost effective if you'd like those. I go, yeah, where are those? Show me some of those. And I try some on. Now, the glasses that I tried on for my regular glasses looked like black frames with a tiny little bit of navy, like just a little hint. So they were subdued.
Like the opposite of what my living room is going to look like.
Your living room is going to look like Starry Night by Van Gogh without any of the brightness of the stars. Let's be honest. Your living room is going to look like the North Pole on the darkest night of the year.
Wow.
Your living room is going to look like my soul.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like the opposite of Nancy Pelosi's soul after an abortion ban.
Opposite of Nancy Pelosi. No. The opposite would be her soul is jumping for joy. She's very upset about the ban.
I don't think that's right.
You don't think that's right?
She's really excited about that $20 she asked me for.
Well, that's...
she's staying up at night.
I don't know if they're... okay, all right.
Cheating on her husband with that thought of getting $20 from me after an abortion ban.
Wow.
She lives for moments like that.
I guess.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's terrifying the way our government works.
It is horrifying.
It's very horrifying.
The way your mind in the government works.
Oh, man. My mind's definitely on the gutterment.
All right, I'm going to finish this story fast because I think your edibles have kicked in.
This story is amazing. I want you to go.
No,
yeah.
Here it is. Going. So anyway, the glasses come in the other day. I go to pick them up. The regular glasses are blue, like your curtain. And I'm
like my body, like my bottle.
Yes.
My bottle.
Yes,
wow.
like your bottle. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to wear blue glasses. What am I, Sally Jesse Raphael's illegitimate son?
Wait, were they blue from the outside or the
inside? They were blue. The frames were blue. And they weren't blue. I think they had the lights dimmed at the office so it looked black. Because even Debbie was like, your glasses are supposed to be black. I'm like, I know they're blue. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is I couldn't fucking see out of them. I put them on and they're like, we want you to give these lenses about a week or 2 weeks so you get used to them. And I'm thinking, it took me no time to get used to these glasses. I put them on. I'm sitting there and I put them on and I'm like, oh my God, the entire world is blurry. And she's like, well, that might just be the new prescription. I said, hang on a second. I turned my head. She's got Friends on the TV over at the other side of the room. And there's subtitles. And I go, I can't read those subtitles. Hang on. I take off my glasses. I'm reading those subtitles like they were etched on my corneas.
Oh, man.
Then I put my old glasses on and I'm like, now they're really clear. And then I go to read some of the stuff on the paper in front of me. I go, all of these words are blurry. And I take off my glasses. I go, now they're still blurry. I put on my old glasses. I go, now I can read them. Well, I'd still like you to give it a week. And I'm like, no. But I take the glasses. I walk outside. I'm like, then I put the blue glasses on, not blue blockers, just blue glasses.
Right.
And they feel like that they're creaking and they're chintzy. And I'm like, these glasses are going to explode immediately. So I try to drive from the optometrist to Walmart with these glasses on, and I can't see anything. The whole world is blurry. No matter how I tilt my head, no matter what I look at, if it's far away or close up, I can't see. I make it to Walmart. This was wearing the sunglasses. I put the regular glasses on to go into Walmart, and it was like, I wish I had known Braille because I couldn't read my list. I couldn't read anything on the shelves. I kept moving my head like a spastic, trying to, maybe if I tilt my head this way, I could see. Maybe if I go this way, I couldn't see anything. So I'm infuriated, as you can imagine. I am livid.
Yeah.
That we have just dropped all this money on glasses that I can't. And the guy did the whole test, the whole eye test. He's supposedly a doctor of optometry. So I do what I always do in these situations. I defer to Debbie because she was going in the next day to get her glasses. And I go, take these glasses back. I'm not wearing them. I can't see. I don't care how much, because by the time I got home, I had a headache and a stomach ache from having blurred vision for an hour. I'm like, I can't wear these. And Debbie thrives on this stuff. She's really good at it. She enjoys confrontation. She enjoys that kind of stuff. Well, she's lived with me for 30 years.
Sure.
So she's ready for a fight. She's always ready for a fight. She takes them back. And the woman there is like, well, those are the ones he tried on. And she's like, no, they're not, because I was with him and they were black and blah, 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 blah. And he can't see. So I want a refund. Oh, okay. But the doctor's not here. He won't be back till Monday. So you'll have to wait. So I forgot to ask her. She was going to call today because they kept the glasses. I left them there. I'm not going to use them. And so now I got to see. Do I look like Bono?
I think it's supposed to be, do you like Bono? Because the tinted glasses.
Well, they weren't tinted. The lenses weren't tinted. The frames were blue. It was a blue frame. There was no tinting in the lens. No, I don't look like Bono. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to get to.
So you don't know. So you can't see me right now.
I can see you. The old glasses still work pretty well.
Nope. What I heard is that you can't see me at all. That's extraordinary. I commend you for having done this podcast without the ability to see anything.
Cody, I tried to empathize with everyone, from the wildly ignorant to the visually impaired, and I'm not equating those two. They're just two different groups.
Yeah.
So yes, I have done this without the ability to see, and I actually have some sort of mechanism where it's reading me the comments through my headsets. I have a producer off screen who's reading me the comments.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I got a lot going on here. I'm looking at a can of Goof Off, your cut rate adhesive remover.
Yep.
So yes, but that is that.
Have you heard of Zenny?
I have not heard of Zenny.
Let me tell you about Zenny. Maureen threw it in the chat. Thanks for mentioning that. Zenny. When I was still working at Discovery, my co-host Ashley told me about this place called Zenny, Zenni. Brian, go there. They sell glasses and frames and stuff for like $50, $60.
Are they cool though, or are they dorky?
That's where I got mine. Actually,
I don't know. I don't know if I've ever seen you in glasses.
You've definitely seen me in glasses. Well, no, yeah, I've worn them for this podcast before. But anyway, I got those frames from Zenny. They're like $40 to $70 or somewhere around there. And they don't take insurance, but it has nothing to do with insurance. That's just the price. They just sell them to you. But you can get them like $40, $50. They're good quality. Maureen's right. I got them right when the pandemic started. So I've had mine more than 2 years. And they are holding up, and I have a son that's grabbed them off my face and stuff, and they're still intact. So yeah, I don't know. They also have, Brian, you'll like or hate this, but they have a glasses like virtual try-on thing. So they take your picture of your head from like the front, and then you turn it a little, and then you do it on both sides.
Really?
And then when it gives you a virtual pair of glasses, you can click and drag left or right to see what it would look like from the front, and then from also like 90 degrees either way with your head. And it's pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate. It's really cool because they take 3D models of the glasses, so they just apply them to your face from like 10 different camera angles.
Really?
Yeah, it's really, that's how I picked my glasses, because like it was a pandemic, I couldn't go anywhere, and I'm like, I haven't worn glasses in 12 years. I don't know what looks good on me. So I used this virtual thing, and I was like, all right, cool. I like these. Cool. Whatever, buy it. And I bought a second pair I didn't like, and I returned it, and I still have a store credit there. So
all right, I'll have to check it out.
Because you can buy two for $100, right? You don't like one, I mean, you can return it for a credit sometimes.
Well, I have to get progressives, so they're a little more expensive, but not that much.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to see, because these progressives are just double. You know, there's top and bottom.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really need anything for far away. I just needed for up close.
Right.
I don't know. But yeah, I don't want to. Now I'm seeing there 3 different levels. Like I thought maybe these new ones had 3 different levels. That's too confusing. But I tried tilting my head, looking everywhere, and then I'm driving with my glasses like this, or it's like a spaz. Ugh.
Maureen has progressive lenses, and
we have to ask Maureen if she is a stockholder for Zenny, or Zenny. I don't know if Maureen, if her last name is Zenny, if she married into the Zenny family, if there's anything that she's somehow connected with this for some pluggaroo. I don't know.
I'd buy that for $1.
I've pretty much gone through my list there, Cody.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, I got to tell, I will be posting this. I have a show at the Laugh Factory on July 10th at 7 p.m. It's a Sunday evening. It's a showcase with, and this is turned into, I told you I was doing it and it wasn't a lot of dough.
Yeah.
So I got a W-9 that I had to fill out for not For when I say not a lot of dough, like probably not covering my gas because it's just a short set. Today, I get a message from the guy who booked it. Oh, hey, just so you know, the Laugh Factory, it'll take a while to get paid because they send the checks from Los Angeles. And I'm like, for this much money? Really? He's like, yeah, sorry, didn't I tell you? I go, no. I said, but to be quite honest, the money is not worth worrying about. If I had to worry about this, honest to God, it's not even it's a half a tank of gas.
Yeah.
If I had to worry about that to keep us afloat, I got other issues. But I'm like, I got to jump through all these hoops to do a 15-minute set and then wait for Jamie Masada to cut me a check and send it to me from Los Angeles. I'm like, I'm sure they have that much petty cash in the bar drawer that night to pay all of us.
Yeah.
Because to pay all the comics on the show, I don't know what the host made. It's his show, so I don't know. But to pay all the acts, less than $200 for the night. So
yeah,
I'm not exaggerating. It's just like, really? And I said to Debbie, they can't expect me to pay taxes on that amount of money. I thought there was some law that you had to make up to a certain amount before
500 or more. I think.
I thought it was 500 or more.
Yeah.
I would have to work there 15, 20 times between now and January.
Wow.
I have to be there every day.
Is our stand-ups usually that desperate for money though? Be honest.
Like back, I don't know. No, in LA, that's what they pay. So when like at the Improv and the Laugh Factory and the store, it's probably a little bit more than that now, but not much. But that's nowhere near like for weekends and real shows. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But this is a showcase, a little bit. Like if I was doing if it was any longer than 15 minutes, I would have passed.
Yeah.
Because I got to pay for parking. I got to drive down there. I got to go on stage. I got to yak. It'll be fun. I want everybody to come because it is the early bird special, formerly known as the Geezer Show. So I'll be watching the Facebook page. I'll post the links to that.
What's the date and
it is July 10th, the Laugh Factory.
July 10th, the Laugh Factory in Chicago.
In Chicago.
In Old Town. Ye Olde Town.
No, that is Zany's in Old Town. The Laugh Factory is in Lakeview. Not in Old Town. Yes.
In Lakeview
is it on
Belmont.
Belmont.
And Belmont and Clark, I believe.
I believe so.
Or Belmont.
It is on 3175 North Broadway.
So it's Broadway.
3175 North Broadway.
I used to walk by. I've never been inside, but I used to walk by.
It's a beautiful club. They do a lot of these theme shows and showcase shows and, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Pay wise, they just thought you were super desperate.
Well, no, this is one of those things where it's all these kind of shows where they don't have to, they don't have a lot of output, So these guys, all these groups promote different shows, like a New Faces show or this show or that show or the old people show or whatever it is. And then they're like, okay, we'll be open. That saves them. They don't have to book headliners. They don't have to bring guys in from out of town. They could just have shows up all the time. And so we'll see. Listen, I'll be fantastic, whatever it is.
Sure.
I'll be coming right off surgery. So I may be on opioids.
Of course.
That's the time to come see me. Because I'm having surgery on the 8th and I'm doing this show on the 10th. So.
But he's not desperate for you.
I'm sorry. They changed it. It's not the 10th anymore. It's the 17th.
It's the 17th. It's not the 10th anymore at all.
They changed. I forgot they changed it.
I can actually make it the 17th. So we'll have another show to remind you before.
Yeah, we'll have another. It was the 10th. When I booked it, it was the 10th. And this is how things are bad. Things are getting bad. I had a dentist appointment Friday. I forgot till I woke up, and then I was like, I'm not feeling good. And Debbie goes, "Didn't you have an appointment today?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, all right." So I called them. "I'm not feeling well." They're like, "Oh, don't come in."
Yikes.
So I'm forgetting things now. I got all my body parts are breaking down. The country's devolving into just a black hole. Your living room is going to be dark as night.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is bleak. But it's America. We get to get drunk and blow stuff up on Sunday.
But
Monday.
you're not so desperate that you need to wait for a check from LA to clear, too badly.
When it comes, happy days.
Yeah.
It's like when I get mailbox money from a TV show that I did.
Yes.
And it's like, ooh, $3. Hold on.
Right.
I'm going on a bender. Like every once in a while, you get one where they've renewed something. It's like $43. And I'm like, what? I'm in show business. That's right. $43. And Debbie says, woohoo, let's have dinner. And I say, woohoo, that's right, baby.
I'd buy that for $1.
$42.
I am just glad you're not as desperate as Nancy Pelosi after abortion has been illegalized. Let's go, everybody.
All right. And on that note, I think it is time to say au revoir, mon ami. Have a lovely 4th of July. We can't wait. Yes, we are not on next week because it's July 4th. It's Independence Day. Cody's going to be at Jurassic Park World Tour Fest.
75.
The
resurrection.
He's going to have some more, some edibles and move it. Are those the ones you got in bulk?
Yeah.
All right. I got to get some of those bulk edibles of yours. Try those out till I head out to Colorado to get my Rocky Mountain High. All right. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to tell your friends. Have them follow us. Oh man, we would love it. We'd love more people following us and listening and all that. But thank you. Thanks to everybody in the comments again. Cody was right. You guys, it's always fun to talk to you guys as the night goes on. Always fun to talk to Cody and his lunacy. Anything else you got?
No, just you close it out.
All right. Have a wonderful 4th of July. I don't know. Do the best you can with what we got. That's all I got at this point. I can't really put pearls on swine.
Yep.
Muscle up and we'll try to get through it.
Happy 4th of July, or more like happy poop. More like happy poop out of your butt.
Bye.